God. Ask God.
Hey Scott, it's Zawad here from Jamaica, Queens in New York City. I love the podcast, man. I've been listening for more than 6 months now. I'm actually fairly young. I relate to your family a lot. Just like your son, love playing basketball, love working out. I'm 20 years old, a junior in college. And I started this business about 4 months ago. And I have two products in the market right now. I just launched two more, so I guess that makes it four. And I have two more products in production. So I've been going at this thing full force. I actually dropped two of my classes because of this business. I was a full-time student. Now I'm a part-time student. I work part-time as well. But anyways, I had a question for you regarding keywords. For keywords, when I first started this business, I remember tools like Merchant Words, and then Google Keyword Planner. I was using those to get the keywords. But right now, there are so many other tools that are out there. And also, Amazon changed their policy as far as how many keywords can go in the back end. I was just wondering your take on this and see what is the best way of getting keywords, for the back end specifically, because there are tools out there that gets keywords for you, but they get a lot of irrelevant keywords. For example, I search for garlic press, for example, and they'll give me a keyword for iPhone 7. Like that has nothing to do with garlic press. So I'm just wondering what tools you use or what exactly you do in order to make sure that you get 10 out of 10 when it comes to the keywords and you don't miss out on anything. So that's my question. Okay, thank you so much, man. Okay, I hope to get this question answered. I looked into a few places. I got a few answers. I just wanted to get your take on this. Thank you so much. Okay, and I hope to get the question answered rather. All right, thank you so much, man. Okay, have a good one.
Hey, Ahad, thank you so much for the question. Hopefully I pronounced your name correctly. Man, I got to say, I'm impressed. I am really impressed. A guy your age and the amount of motivation and hustle that you have is pretty inspiring myself. So great job. And I just want to give you a little pat on the back and say you're doing awesome. So really, really, really cool stuff. Being a young guy, I mean, you could be doing a lot of other things than trying to build this business for yourself at your age. So really respect you for that. And it's pretty awesome. All right. So keywords, again, this has been kind of the topic of today really is like, I guess optimization and ranking and all of that stuff, right? So keywords kind of ties into everything as well. Now I see some people really focusing on like just how do I find all of these like keywords that are going to bring in all the sales. It's really going to come down to, and I know this wasn't your question, but I need to touch on it. It's really going to come down to finding that handful or a couple of handfuls of keywords that's going to bring in most of the traffic. Like that's what it's about, right? And if you can pick up a few here, a few stragglers, right, that might get you even 2-3 extra sales a month or even a couple of weeks, whatever, then cool. You just keep adding to that bucket, okay? Now, I guess in the past when we heard that Amazon was going to allow us to add a ton more characters, we got all excited and we started throwing in keywords. That's actually been, I think, a problem for some people and actually did more harm than good than just stuffing irrelevant keywords. Because if you are starting to rank for keywords that you're not relevant for, you're going to show up, but you're not going to convert, which then can hurt you. So be careful with that. As far as tools go, the best tool I think that you're ever going to be able to use is really Amazon. It's the pay-per-click, right? It's allowing them to tell us what keyword searches are being searched for, okay? And we're getting impressions for. So your auto campaign is gold. If you have not expanded your budget, like increased your budget on your auto, that's where I would probably start with anyone because it's going to open up the floodgates for keywords that you might not even have thought of, okay? Now, there might be some in there that show up too that you're like, nah, I wouldn't want to show up for that. Well, that'll tell you that as well, right? So that would be the first thing. Like sometimes we just start with $1 per click we go to, and then we get some data, and then we're like, cool, well now we go right into manual mode. But the auto, if you up that and even put a cap on it as far as like how much you want to spend per day, but if you up the budget on that, you'll start getting even like a wider net of keywords, and that there can start sending you down another path. Because then I would take those keywords and I wouldn't just use those keywords, but then I could use those as new seed keywords. Okay. What I mean by new seed keywords, it's kind of like the one keyword that can, or even two keywords that can then open it up to a whole nother run of keywords. Okay. So I would take that and then plug that into the Google Planner, the free tool. And then I would also go over to Merchant Words. I would check that out and see if anything else comes up. Again, you're really not looking at the keywords that are technically being used to show up for your competitor. You're just trying to find random ones, hopefully, that your competitor isn't even using right now, because then that's going to allow you to have more visibility. So I would say those are the two main tools to kind of, to discover keywords. Longtail Pro, a lot of people don't talk about that. I've used that for years for SEO stuff on my own website, even my photography stuff. And it'll allow you to find, like long tail keywords that you might be missing that get Google traffic. Well, if it gets Google traffic, it might also get Amazon traffic, but you won't know until you put that into a manual campaign, start throwing some money at it, and start to see if you're getting any searches. It's one thing to just plug them into the back end and say, these are all keywords that I think are going to rank or that I've gotten a few impressions for. But if you see the data in the back end of your pay-per-click of, inside of Amazon, that's really the data that you want, right? If you see a keyword is getting a lot of searches and it's really relevant, then that you need to make sure that that's in the back end, right? We want to make sure of that. There's other tools. Keyword Inspector. I think Keyword Inspector, again, is a great way to do a reverse ASIN search. And again, you guys can find all of this stuff on my resources page, theamazingseller.com/resources. Just go there, scroll down a little bit. You'll start seeing a section there with keyword related stuff. Just check that out. You do get double credits if you go through my link. It is an affiliate link. You will buy me coffee. Full disclosure, I have a coffee right now that one of my listeners bought me. You get double credits. So you have to pay. It's on a credit system, and then you can do a reverse ASIN. Now, here's the deal on that. If you run that reverse ASIN on your competitor's listing, it's going to bring back a ton of keywords, but it still doesn't tell you which ones are converting, all right? The only way you're gonna know if it converts is if you run it. And if it converts, and if you do that in pay-per-click, then you can see that it converted. You can see the impression, you can see the click, and then you can see it converted. Now, if it didn't convert, that doesn't mean that it's a bad keyword either. It might just mean that you don't have the optimization for that keyword. Maybe you don't have, the reviews that you need to convert, or maybe you don't have the image that will convert because it doesn't convey the message in the image related to that keyword. It's kind of complicated to kind of explain through audio, but you get what I'm saying. You have to be relevant for it, but if it's a relevant keyword, but yet your picture doesn't really mention it or I guess express it, you need to change that. And that might just be a simple tweak that you can do to then convert on that keyword. So I know that wasn't 100% of your question. You're just like, what tools are you using right now? It's really the same ones as I've used in the past. There's no I don't believe that there's anything out there that's going to find you that magic keyword that's going to just all of a sudden click. It's going to take finding a bunch, throwing them in, seeing which ones get impressions, see which ones get clicks, and see which ones convert. That's it, right? So it's like throwing, in a sense, mud at the wall and seeing what sticks. It's that same analogy. And then you just start to prune and kind of get rid of the bad and keep the good and start expanding on that. But the auto campaign, raising your budget on something like that right off the bat, that'll get you data like instantly, because then you can see in your customers' search report, you can see the actual keyword that was keyed in to find your product. And if it converted, you want to know that. So hopefully this helped. I know it was a little long-winded, but that's how we roll here. Well, hey there. Thank you so much for listening to that episode of Ask Scott. Now, that was just a highlight from one of our full episodes where I generally answer 3 to 4 questions on a podcast. If you want to go back and listen to all of the past archives of not just the Ask Scott session, but all of the full episodes where I do interviews with top Amazon sellers, people starting from scratch and building a business, if you want to listen to any of those episodes, head over to theamazingseller.com and you can find all of that over there. You can also find details there on how you can ask your own question and get it aired on an upcoming Ask Scott session and possibly see it here on YouTube or just on the podcast. All right, so definitely head over to theamazingseller.com. There's tons of resources over there for you to be able to build your e-commerce and Amazon business, so definitely go check that out. Now, I just wanted to remind you one thing before I let you go. There's a lot of information out there, and some of it is really, really good. What I want you to remember is you have to not just consume the information, you have to actually apply that information. So take this information that you learned here today and apply it to your business, and this way here you can get results. As my shirt says, I wear it almost daily. Take action. We'll see you guys.